time for Dear Smiley. It's Wednesday and it's 2 o'clock, and every week we get together and we try and shine a light on an issue for one child in the hope or family that we can help someone else. So thank you if you've joined us today, and if you're watching on the playback, thank you very much. It's a beautiful day outside. It's really hot and sunny, so maybe you're all out enjoying the sunshine, which is brilliant. But we've reached the time of year where the kids have got end of year tests and exams. I know some of them are finished, but some of my clients have got tests and exams, so I wanted to talk about that today. That's really, really important. But how are you all doing anyway? Are you all good? Are you all settling back in after half term? Is the home straight now towards summer? I haven't actually been online for a couple of weeks because I've been having my flat decorated, and it just didn't materialise. But I've been quite busy work-wise, and clients are booking stuff for the summer now for their kids, which is good. So things are good for me. And yesterday I went to a VIP spa day with a mum, and so we spent the day together, and she had treatments done, and I listened to her story and did some coaching with her. And then this weekend I will be writing a plan specifically for her family, and then we will follow up with a Skype call afterwards. So that's quite a nice package for mums, not only because they get 2 treatments, they get lunch, they get a goodie bag, they get some time out to reflect, because I think as mums we're always in it, and quite often we're firefighting, and maybe we could redirect our energy in another way and take stock and reflect, and then that will be a better use of our time than constantly firefighting, and you get some much needed self-care. So yes, so that's what I've been doing. So I've got a letter here from a child, as ever. So today's Dear Smiley is my end of year exams and homework giving me Sunday night back to school blues. So I used to get that as a child. On a Sunday, round about 3 o'clock, when I hadn't done my English homework, I would be crying because I couldn't think of anything to write, and it would ruin my weekend, it would ruin my Sunday. And I know there's lots of children out there, and you know, I hear parents say things like, oh, it's because they're lazy, it's because they've left it till the last minute. It isn't, and I'm going to talk to you why it isn't that in a minute, and how you can help that. And also, if you're a child who's listening who gets what I call back to school Sunday night blues, stay with me because I can help you, and I understand how you feel. We mustn't give our power away to schoolwork and let it spoil the rest of our weekend. So, but there's a reason for that, and I will talk to you more about that. If you're watching and you can relate to that, can I get a like or a thumbs up, so I know that you, even if you don't want to comment, I know that you can relate to what I'm saying, because it's really important. I suppose I talk to you about things that make sense to you. So let's crack on. And by the way, if you've got something you want to ask me, lisa@smileyforlife.com, please email me. It'd be great to hear from you. So, Dear Smiley, I'm a very stressed 11-year-old boy taking end-of-year exams, and my mum told me to write to you to see if you can help. Good mum, wise mum. I'm not sleeping very well, as it takes me ages to get to sleep, and my mind is busy thinking about all the work I have done. I worry I won't remember what I need to. I've done quite a bit of revision, but it doesn't seem to be enough to satisfy my worries, and I want to stay up late and do more and more. I panic that I won't remember everything. I feel sick in the morning when I wake up, and I'm tired too. I feel for you. That's horrible. And it's horrible, isn't it, staring at the alarm clock, watching the numbers go up and think, I've got to get up for an exam in X amount of hours time. That makes it stressful. I watch the clock tick by, and I wish I could go to sleep. As everybody says, I need a good rest before a test. I need a good rest before a test. You do. It feels like more pressure. I think school is okay, but I would rather be doing other things. I get that. And I like it when we have swimming on a Monday because it gives me something to look forward to. Most Sundays around 4 o'clock, I start to think about school. I dread it being Monday, and I don't want the weekend to finish. Does everybody feel like this? And is there anything I can do to stop stressing, get more sleep, and not ruin Sundays by worrying about school? Love, super stressed of Surrey. Super stressed of Surrey. I get a real sense of panic and stress when I read your letter. It really comes through. And I think that you're like that because you actually care quite deeply about your exams and about your schoolwork. And you say you're not too fussed about school, but you do want to do well. And that's why you're stressed, because you care. And we tend to worry about things that we really care about. And I wonder if you care because you want to do a good job, or you know how important your exams are. Or I wonder if you care because you don't want to get into trouble. So you need to have a think about that. But mostly we worry about stuff that really matters to us, and it will matter to us for a number of reasons. But I want you to know that how you're feeling is a normal response to being put under pressure. And life is full of situations where we are put under pressure, and we all respond differently to pressure depending on our personality, but depending on our ability to bounce back. So we call that emotional resilience. And so if we've got a high emotional intelligence, then we know how to put things into perspective, change our mindset. It's all about the mindset that we have, and we know how to handle. So it's a bit like riding waves. This is a bit like surfing. We know how to get through those tricky situations. However, if we have an anxious disposition and we're prone to worrying and we don't handle stress very well, perfectionists don't handle stress very well, particularly exams, because they're under a time constraint. So they don't have the luxury of time to perfect. So exams are horrible for them. At school, because I'm a perfectionist, I was always better at coursework than I was at exams, because I could stay up all night perfecting it till the cows come home. Whether that affected my grade or not, I don't know, but it made me feel more in control and better. And the thing is about exams is that it's an unknown. Yes, you have learnt things at school, and you kind of have to trust yourself and trust your brain. So if you see your brain like a set of filing cabinets, and in those filing cabinets are all the information that you need to answer those exams. So you know it. You know it. If you've been paying attention in class and you've been doing the homework or doing the work, you know this stuff. But the block is your stress and your belief that you'll forget it, and you're not trusting in yourself. That's the block. And when you start to get stressed like that, all of those filing cabinets will lock. So when you get into the exam, you can't access any of that information, and therefore you will be stressed. So try and trust yourself that you have everything you need inside of you to do your best job. And if you trust and you have that mindset of, I can do this, take deep breaths, be relaxed, you will go in and do your best job. You will. I can pretty much vouch for that. I want to also talk about that as well, about this whole mindset around homework and tests and exams and pressure. So whilst we want to do well and we care about this stuff, we need to put it into perspective. When we're 80 years old with our grandchildren, sitting by the fire reading them stories, are we going to think, I wish I'd stayed up for more hours doing more schoolwork? I'm 43 and I look back on my school days and think, I wish I'd spent less time doing it and had more fun. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Because yesterday on Facebook I watched this amazing video about an American man who went to Finland and interviewed heads of schools in Finland. Now Finland have a very different educational approach, but their schools are like #1 in the world. And it's not because they work their students really hard. And it's not because they have loads of exams and tests and they get amazing grades. It's because their students are happy. And their ethos around education is around creativity, play, fun, and being relaxed. Because we learn through, lots of us are experiential learners, we learn through experience, and lots of us learn when we're relaxed and we can have fun with it and we're enjoying ourselves. That's why when you get a teacher at school that you don't particularly gel with, you start not to like that subject and do well, because it's not nice, it's not a good fit for you, so it's not nice to be in that teacher's classroom. When you get a subject that is not really interesting, so I didn't really like science at school, you lose interest and you disengage. So when your brain is happy and playful, and creativity is at the seat of our uniqueness. So if you were to draw a cow, yours might be pink and mine might be green, Someone else might draw a brown cow, but we're all bringing ourselves to the picture of the cow. And now creativity is what makes us unique. At school, everything is standardized and we're stopping people from being creative. So if you don't like school, this person who's written to me, I hope you've got lots of other playful, creative, fun interests out of school, whether that's sports, whether that's dancing, cooking. So on this video on Facebook, I'm actually going to share it in my newsletter that's going out tomorrow. So if you're on my newsletter list, you'll be able to watch the video. It's really, really interesting. It's just children are learning through cooking, making music, singing, dancing, drawing, and none of them have to be the best artist, the best singer. There's none of that comparison stuff going on. Because when we compare, we despair. We're not meant to be like other people. We're meant to bring ourselves to this life. That's, you know, when I say that's what is it I say? What makes you weird is what makes you wonderful. And it's so true. And also, I want to say to this person is when you get focused on doing revision and you can't just be you and be relaxed and happy, you're up in your head. You're up in your head where all your worries live and you're really stressed. Whereas when you can just be yourself, you're in your body and you can be more relaxed and you can feel much calmer. So I think that we need to put your exams into perspective, and I think you need to change the belief that you need to do more and more revision, because the more revision you do, the more you know, so the more in control you'll be. No, that's a false belief and it's actually not true. If you do, I think your brain can only take in, I don't know if it's 90 minutes or 2 hours. If anyone's a teacher who's online right now, they'll tell me. But my brain can only concentrate for 90 minutes. And then you need to go and do something. Walk around on the grass with no shoes and socks on. Be careful of stones and dog poo, but do that. And you will ground your energy. Go and have a drink. Go and FaceTime your mate. Go and bop around your bedroom to some music. You know, don't just solidly slog at the books because you think that that is going to get you better grades. Your brain, your filing cabinets will have shut down. And you need to leave time between revising and going to sleep. So that's the other thing I want to talk to you about, because you're telling me you get Sunday night blues. And that, to me, sounds like you're struggling with transition. So lots of children struggle with transition. Transition is moving from one thing to another, as it says. So it can be saying goodbye, going from one person to another. It can be going in the morning from jumping in the shower to cleaning your teeth to putting your clothes on. They're all mini transitions in a morning routine. It can be leaving your house and going to another place. Okay? If your child struggles with transition, and you will know because that will make them anxious, there's a few things you can do. You need to give yourself more time to do things. You must never rush your child or bark orders at them or overschedule them, because they will get stressed really easily. And if they've got an anxious disposition, which I think this young lad has got, because you're telling me that you're worrying, so you're probably quite anxious. And it's normal to worry about exams, as I say, because you need a little bit of worry to make sure that you do your best. But the transition thing, the fact that going from a Sunday to a Monday, so going from being in this snug place with your family where there's nothing to worry about, there's no schoolwork, to then plopping yourself back into school is a big deal to you. So I'm not very good at saying goodbyes. I'm not very good at leaving the house. And since I've discovered this whole transition thing, I've realised that if I don't get up and out of my bed and straight in the shower in the morning, by 11 o'clock I can still be on my laptop in my pyjamas. Which is fine if I'm not coaching, but I can't turn up to work in my pyjamas. So you've got to give yourself time. And these children need plans. So I think as parents, we schedule lots of stuff in for them maybe. Involve them in the plans, get involved in the plans so they feel like they've got control. And instead of telling them what to do, ask them what's next. Cleaned your teeth, what's next? Lead them towards the next thing so that they feel like they're in control of making those transitions. Because there's nothing worse than being pushed into something. And if you're not a morning person, I'm thinking about the morning routine, and your mum's going, put your shoes on, clean your teeth, get in the car. And you're really struggling with that because that's a big deal to you. You're going to be stressed before you've even got to school. So I understand how you feel on a Sunday night when that big black cloud comes looming over you and you go, oh God, I've got school tomorrow. Okay, but there's some things that you can do around that. I wanted to say to you as well, I've just looked at my notes and said, when you're revising for your exams, this is you need to think about your learning style and how you like to learn. So you've got to learn in a way that's right for you. So maybe you're auditory and you need to record yourself, you know, on phones and iPads, they've got voice memos where you can record, and then you can put your earbuds in and listen to yourself in the bath or listen to yourself while you're wandering around. Perhaps you need to say stuff out loud and speak it. So I used to write all my key notes on cards and walk around the garden with no shoes and socks on without realising what I was doing and talk to myself. So it was almost like I was teaching myself, and that somehow went in. Maybe you need to write things down. Maybe you need to draw diagrams. Perhaps you're visual and you've got photographic memory, and if you see a diagram, you'll remember that. I don't know if schools teach you how to learn. I know that sounds like a really obvious question, but you know, they've got a curriculum to cover. I think some schools do teach about learning styles and how to apply yourself, but learning how to learn is really important, and that's part of knowing yourself. We all retain information, we all learn in different ways. So just remember that when you're revising. Don't feel like you have to do it like your mate does it or do it like your teacher's told you to do it. Explore with it and work out what's right for you. That's really important. But going back to the transition thing, I'd also be interested to know if this young chappie is an introvert. So introverts need to go within to recharge. They don't like being in big crowds of people. They're actually quite homebodies. They like staying in the house. I think that goes hand in hand with the not being able to make transitions. So again, don't overschedule. If you've been to a festival or a fete, or you've been around big groups of people, come home and have quiet time, schedule in duvet days, take your foot off the gas, slow down, let your children entertain themselves. They don't need screens, and just let them be. Let them breathe, just let them be. I can remember as a child, like there were 4 of us, and my mum obviously had like loads of house chores to do, because back in those days, well, not when I was really little, we didn't have a cleaner till later on, and my mum had, you know, the food shop to do and everything, and we would like take over the whole house and set up like hotels in the hallway or post offices, or we'd play a game called Ladies where we dress up in my mum's high heels, push our dollies around. You know, and all that imaginative, creative play. And I would have still been like 9 or 10 doing that. It's really good for you. Really good. I think we do things differently now. We learn on our iPads. Which reminds me, guys, if you don't have parental controls on your iPad, because I'm seeing things in coaching which are disturbing me, things that children are seeing because adults have been on certain websites, and then children are in YouTube, and then inappropriate stuff that's age inappropriate is coming up the side of the screen. Have an open door policy, so no screens behind closed bedroom doors, and maybe no screens upstairs. Keep them downstairs. Maybe shut your internet off at like 10 o'clock at night. And no screens in the bedroom really, because they are not going to help you sleep. No matter what your children tell you about watching videos before they go to sleep, it's lighting up a bit of their brain that is not going to want to sleep. Sorry, I digress. That's just come up in coaching this week. And, you know, there's a lot of predators out there online, and I'm not trying to scaremonger, because we don't want our children to grow up thinking the world's a scary place, because they need to live in it and be happy in it. We do need to keep them safe online. We really do need to keep them safe online. So going back to you, sorry, super stressed of sorry. There's also a mindset you need to have around this whole going back to school thing, because thinking that life is all about home or school is what we call black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is really unhelpful, because we get caught up in thinking things can only be one way or this way or that way. Of course, that's not the case. And sometimes, you know, when we've got something approaching us, like, I don't know, my worst thing would be if I had to go and give a talk tomorrow to a school. Talking to you lot on here is fine because I'm hiding behind my phone, but if I had to rock up to an assembly and talk to hundreds of people, that would be a stressful situation for me. But if I prepared for it and I've put the time into it and I've practiced it, I've got to park it till I get up tomorrow morning and go and be, you know, with those children, deliver that talk. You've got to learn to park it in your head, because otherwise your worries take over and they're all consuming, and this whole it has to be like this and has to be like that is an unhelpful way to think. It's kind of like the people who say you're right and I'm wrong. Well, who is right and who's to say you're right or wrong? You know, everyone's got a different perspective on life. So I just want to say to this young chap, just be mindful that you're not very good at transitions. So I would, around exam time, reduce the amount of transitions you have in your routine. Sit down with your mum and dad and talk to them about, you know, making less plans, having less people around, having more quiet time to sort of, you know, be able to reconnect with yourself. I would also suggest that you do meditation at night time before you go to sleep. All my clients do it. Get an app like Headspace or Calm.com. Calm.com is free. There's My Smiling Mind for kids. Little kids find it hard to lie still, so they can have their eyes open. You can lie down beside them. Older children could do it for themselves. But without getting into the benefits and the science behind what deep breathing does to your brain, I promise you at times of stress, it makes a massive difference to how children feel. And they respond to it very quickly. We're a bit more resistant to it. You know, maybe we get a bit cynical and think, is this working? But children, you know, it feels good. They know it feels good. They want to go back and do a bit more. So I hope that's helpful. And as ever, I've got some blog posts and places to direct you to. So if you and your child are going through stressful exams, I think you'll find these links quite helpful. And I want to talk to you about maintenance, okay? So what I've noticed is some of my clients are coming to the end of their coaching sessions, and whatever it was that was causing stress, or because they've just finished their exams, their parents are saying, oh, we're going to have a break from coaching and we'll start it again in September. Okay, no. If you want a six-pack and you have a break from going to the gym, between now and September, what do you think your stomach's going to look like? Not very toned. If you have a break from Weight Watchers and you stop going between now and September, do you think you're going to be able to maintain? Now, if you've internalised the Smiley stuff that we've learnt in coaching, then you will probably be okay. But actually, you need to internalise and integrate these tools into your daily routine so that when September comes and you have another set of exams, I don't know, post-Christmas or whenever you get your first lot of tests, you don't then go into massive panic and meltdown and flood your body with cortisol and get all stressed again, because you're just doing this. Whereas if you do the coaching stuff and you do it as maintenance and you do it every day as part, like, you know, the old Smiley thought cards that I keep going on about, you do them every day, do some meditation every day and some of my other techniques, and you make them part of your routine. You make them fit in. Can you fit them in the car? Can you do them at night time? Is it something you do before you go to bed? Can you do it while you're brushing your teeth? Make it part of your daily routine, and you won't have to keep coming to coaching and get things put back on track again. You'll just stay on track. And we say prevention is better than cure, don't we? So we don't want to leave things till they get really, really bad before we do something about them. Talking of Smiley thought cards, I did pick a card for this young lad that wrote me a letter, and it's a confidence card, and it says, I am brave and I face my fears. And on the back it says, did you know everybody is scared of something, and that's okay. It's true, we're all scared of something. Things often turn out better than you imagine. So think about, keep your eye on the prize, think about the relief after the exam, think about how pleased you'll feel with yourself because you've done it, and think about those lovely summer holidays. 6 weeks off work, I would love that. I never appreciated it as a child. But while I'm on that subject, that reminds me that if you want to do some sort of maintenance and learn a toolkit to take you through to September over the summer, I'm doing 10 days of free summer club online this year. Doesn't mean you'll be on screens. It just means the program is set up online for you to receive the information. So you don't have to be in Surrey and come to the park like I did last year. Wherever you are in the world, you can get Smiliness, which is brilliant because it means it can help more people. So what you have to do is sign up your child's name for Summer Club. Go to the website smileyforlife.com/Summer Club, and you will get 10 days worth, and you will get a little pack of tools from me that if you bring into your routine will help your child manage stress. I mean, let's face it, we live in a really stressful world, don't we? Some of us as adults are struggling to deal with that. So we are failing our children massively if we don't give them the tools to survive in the world that we've created for them to live in. I know I sound a bit angry, but I'm kind of quite passionate about it. I'm quite passionate about it. So this maintenance thing is really important. It's like you would give your child medicine if they were poorly. You make sure they eat their 5 a day. You don't let them eat loads of sugar. You give them boundaries around screens because you love them and you're keeping them safe and you want them to be happy. This is a set of tools for your emotional intelligence. Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. It's no deep stuff. It's not psychology. It's not therapy. It's just life skills that they need in order to be able to manage their emotions and feel happy and be the best version of themselves. So go to the website and sign up for Summer Club. I'll put all the links in the bottom when I come offline. There is also a blog post for perfectionists. I think it's perfectionist-anxiety-at-exam. I'll put the link in. I'll put the link in the bottom. But if you're a perfectionist, you will struggle with exams. And if your child is a perfectionist, it's very likely that you have another perfectionist in the house. And I've spoken about that on here before. So it might help you as well as helping your child to read that. There's also another blog post, smileyforlife.com/stress signs. It's 10 obvious signs to look for in your child when they're stressed. So if you're caught up in your stress and you're caught up in your daily routine, you might not realise that your child is stressed. So I would recommend that you have a quick squiz on that and make sure that that your stress house is in order. But if you're communicating with your children and you're talking with them and you're encouraging them to share. Oh, so that's another thing that reminds me of. Parents say to me, oh, we're going to give the coaching a bit of a rest because it's quite upsetting. Okay, life is quite upsetting. And if you don't cry about it or get angry about it or own your feelings and feel them, life's going to get more upsetting because you're going to stuff them all down inside and you're either going to get depressed or something else is going to not be right. So, yes, I know it's really hard to see your child cry or be stressed or be angry, but you need to allow them to have their feelings because you're doing them a massive disservice if you're trying to control that in them. In fact, you can't. It's not yours to control. You can only control your reaction to it. So you need to look at why or what's going on for you when they're upset about something and there's nothing you can do about it. Obviously, that's hard for all of us, but it needs a bit of self-reflection. So not coaching or not going deep or not looking at stuff because it makes someone cry is unhealthy. Because where do you think all of those emotions go? I don't know. Where do you think they go? They stay in here and they eat away at you, or you eat on them. And when you grow up, you might smoke on them, you might drink on them, you might take drugs on them. So best now that you get these tools in place so that doesn't happen when you're older. I've been there, I know. I'm speaking from experience, people. So obviously you can get a box of smiley thought cards to change mindsets. These are amazing. These give you what we call a growth mindset, which means that you can bounce back from emotional resilience. And this is what children need. They don't need to be cosseted and wrapped in cotton wool. They need to experience life in an age-appropriate way. They need to be supported and handheld through it so that they can understand themselves and identify with their emotions and learn what's best for them. Like this chappie with his transitions. Transitions will be hard for him, so he needs to plan his schedule and work out how he can best get round that. If you know that at 11, it's going to make life a damn sight easier when you're older, isn't it? And you've got to get up and go to work every day, because every day you're going to have to leave the house. And then the other thing is I've written another blog post, so smileyforlife.com/return to balance. And it talks about using creativity in our lives more because it's been squished out of them at school, and we don't get it at school as much because we're all focused on academic and grades and results and Ofsted scores and various other things. Don't get me started on that. So bringing some creativity, and there's ways to do it. So /return to balance. Bring it back into your house. Encourage your children to be creative, to be unique, to be different, to be themselves, to step into their strengths and just be who they've come here to be. Not like school wants them to be or how they think they should be. And people ask why I don't work in schools. I don't think schools want me to come in and work. I want to create a smiley school. I want to create a smile. In fact, someone was telling me the other day, so I was talking to a client and I was saying I could see like buying a big plot of land and having like farm animals and having like an allotment and having a space where they go and meditate and flower beds and like yurts for them to live in. And she was like, there's a farm like that in, did she say it was in Sussex or Kent? I need to look it up. Something like Me and You, but you spelt like a sheep. And it's like a holiday camp that kids can go on. I've massively digressed, but it makes me really excited. Imagine when you're not at school going to this holiday camp and spending your summer doing all that lovely stuff. Well, just resting and being out in nature and feeding animals and meditating and learning how to do yoga and being a million miles away from suburbia and town life. Be amazing. I need to raise some money if I'm going to build one of those. But I would love to do something like that. It would just be so good for the kids. It would be amazing for them. Wow. So while I'm online, has anyone got any questions about summer club or about exams or about things they're seeing in their children that are worrying them? I mean, your kids are going to get stressed about exams. But take the focus off the exams and bring it back to their awareness of how they're thinking, their mindset. Like, you have a choice, Poppet. We can sit here all night and worry that we haven't done enough revision, but if we don't know it now, we'll never know it. And I know you're worried, I know you're stressed, that's perfectly normal. Or we can have a nice relaxing bath, we can sit down together and, you know, have a nice supper and just make that evening beforehand nice and relaxing and let them connect in with you, because having that connection with you will make them feel better. Oh, a bit thirsty. It's all gone a bit quiet. I can see some of you are online. You're very quiet today. Okay, well, it's 25 to, so I'm going to go. But I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to type all the links in below. And as usual, I always load these and other videos to my YouTube channel. So you can go and find me on YouTube and subscribe. And every time I upload a new video, you'll just get a ping, little bell comes up and tells you Smiley's uploaded another video. And I'm just trying to give you all as much information as possible and tools so that you can help yourselves and help your kids. And I learn stuff all the time. I'm from the kids that I work with. They're teaching me stuff. So have a lovely rest of the week, and I'll be back next week to talk to you all. And I've put in a mum's mini training session about how to survive the summer. It's in the events section on this page. So if you're a mum and you can't deal with conflict during the summer holidays, or you can't deal with boredom, you feel like you constantly have to keep them entertained, or you find that summer holidays overwhelming, or the expectations are too high, or you've got to go to work and manage your children being off school, sign up for that little masterclass. I think it's on the 28th of June at 8, I don't know, you need to look in the event section. I didn't write that one down. But go and check it out and just put your name down, and you just have to show up here like, oh, I just had a call come through on my phone. Right, I'm going to go now. I'm really going. It's lovely to see you all, and I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye. Bye.